Alright, so to celebrate the opening of this new channel, I decided to give some of you some advice and answer some questions you may have. Let me know if you want more of these, and if you want to be featured or ask any questions in the next one, go follow my Instagram at JaredIsWest, and yeah, let's get into it.
This is an interesting question. Okay, does hard work always pay off, or is it cap? There is a correlation between hard work and achievement that I think that in itself is undeniable. So I think if you're looking at it from a general standpoint and you've got 1,000 people to work hard, they're going to be doing better than the people who don't work hard. But there are those certain cases of people that do work hard and obviously not going to be seeing the results that they want to. So as an example, I worked really hard at YouTube my first years of doing it, and I saw absolutely no results. And although a lot of other people would have said my hard work didn't pay off, I learned so much from doing that, and the hard work that I did put in, instead of actually giving me results then, it taught me some things that I could later use in life that would be valuable to me. But I think as a general rule, hard work does pay off, yeah. I know you talked about it, but as a 16-year-old, should I really be caring about ethical money? So I assume this guy is referring to my video where I was talking about how I earned 10k a month at 15, and in which I went over a way which was slightly unethical. I was doing basically like clickbait videos. I guess it all comes down to the individual, but my mindset is setting myself up for my future almost. Like what I'm doing now isn't going to be the pinnacle of my career. And as a 16-year-old, I'm in a space where I don't have financial pressure. So instead of setting myself up for like quick unethical money now, why don't I, take the time to really consider, well, in like 5 years' time, what do I want to be doing? So when I'm 21, I'm not doing the same, unethical things to make money. And instead, I'm doing some like proper ethical thing that is actually contributing to the world and not just filling up the wasteland of money and plastic there is and all of that stuff. I mean, it really does come down to the individual, and I'm in a blessed position in a sense because I don't have to fight for my family. I don't have to make money for my family to survive. And I know there are people in different countries that are the same age as me who do need money to feed their family, and in which case I think that the ethicality, if you will, of making money is a lot less important, and like it's life or death, But the reason that I'm focused on making money ethically is because that is personally how I have found fulfillment in my life. Deep down, I have a feeling that I should be contributing to the world, and I want to use the position I'm in, like the privilege I've been given, regarding like the country I live in, like the family dynamic I live in, all of that stuff. Like I want to use that for good instead of just wasting it, just making unethical money and, fucking people over. This is a quick Instagram question, but Instagram will only let me follow 50 people at a time. Why is this happening? Well, funny enough, currently I'm doing a video on my main channel where I'm going to be experimenting and trying different ways of growing Instagram theme pages. And I'm about halfway through that experiment right now. But what I have found is that instead of following loads of people at once, for example, following the max amount of people Instagram will allow you to twice a day, you're better off following around about 20, 30, 40 people every hour or so. So like if you're growing Instagram pages, I'd recommend trying that out. Yeah, experimenting with that if you haven't done already. Next question. Hey bro, can you give me some advice about how to stop wasting time and procrastinating? So first of all, I feel like a lot of people have a very warped perception on me. I'm a huge time waster. I'm a huge procrastinator. I will procrastinate a week on edge and do absolutely no work. And then the next week I'll work my ass off. I tend to find the times where I've got the ball rolling, that's when I don't procrastinate and waste time. And also when I break down my tasks into small chunks. So instead of saying, oh, I have to finish this video by a week's time, I'll say, oh, look, I just have to like open my editing program, or for example, I have to go outside and just do one set of bench press, because I think if you kind of set these big tasks, they become really overwhelming. And if you break them down into small chunks, and they become more manageable, and instead of kind of stressing over it, procrastinating and wasting time, you could be like, oh yeah, I can bang that out in like 20 minutes or something like that. Failure makes me highly unproductive and pulls me away from work. Tips to overcome. I think first of all, if failure is really failure, then it should demotivate you. And I think that's the whole point of failure in itself.
To see it as a test of your courage. I think that the more mistakes, the more failure, the more time it takes me to reach my actual goal, then not only the better will it feel when I get to my intended goal, but the stronger I become as a person. And if I can overcome the worst failure imaginable, well then, everyday life is going to become easier. It's almost like the Fight Club concept, if you will. Something you can also consider is look back to previous failures that you've had and look at how you've overcame them, and how at the time of that failure, it felt like a massive deal and it felt like the end of the world. But a few months down the line, it feels like absolutely nothing, and you really think about it. So you'll be good. You'll live.
Okay, if you could start over regarding business/YouTube, what would you do differently? Well, I think with YouTube at least, I've gained a lot of knowledge regarding how the algorithm works. I mean, like for the past 2-3 years, I've been studying YouTubers. Funnily enough, I was subscribed to Mr. Beast when he was at about 100,000 subscribers. So I watched his come up, going from some kid who was doing worst intro compilations all the way to being one of the biggest and fastest growing YouTubers now. The exact same with Dream. I saw him when he was doing the PewDiePie seed thing when he had about 20k subscribers, and now again one of the fastest growing YouTubers. So I've seen a lot. I think if I could go back in time, that I would have just approached YouTube differently. I would have focused on a different strategy, how to start off. I probably would have also started Instagram theme pages a lot earlier and done a lot more of them, because now I don't actually have that many. I have about 2 or 3 that are at a decent size. But yeah, apart from that, I don't really know. I'm still quite new to this whole entrepreneur space, and I'm still quite young myself, so I'm sure there's a lot more to learn. And if any of you have any advice for me or anybody else in the comments, then please feel free to reply to them and do any of that stuff. Do you play any video games? Sadly, the only video game I play is Minecraft, and before you call me a nerd, well, I mean, yeah, I'm kind of a nerd, but no, I'm pretty good at it. I'm pretty good at to be honest, I'd rather just watch YouTube than play video games. I'm not really that good at any video games apart from Minecraft, so that's why I play it. But fuck did I say that? I'm gonna get bullied for that shit, man. I like this question. I'll end on this one. So, how do you measure wealth? Well, I think most people measure wealth by the amount of money you have in your bank or your net worth. But then also I could go down the route of saying, how happy and fulfilled you are. But I think with wealth, it's how financially free and how financially stable you are, and how much disposable income you do have. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's all objective at the end of the day, but I'd say with wealth, at least, I measure it by disposable income and the assets and investments you have to your name. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this kind of more raw sit-down video. It's a lot less stressful for me because my main channel, something I've been struggling with is having every video feel like it's polished, because I'm a huge perfectionist when it comes to my work and what I'm doing on YouTube. And I feel like making this second channel alleviates that pressure, because with this channel, I'm just I can kind of be more raw. Every cut doesn't have to be perfect to the millisecond. I don't have to obsessively scour the internet for songs and all of that stuff. I can just kind of chill, and I can just be me in front of a camera, and it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be perfect, you know what I'm saying? And thank you. Subscribe and like. Please. Subscribe and like. Jesus Christ, mate. I legitimately have Instagram clout now. Look at this shit. Nah. 41 likes in 3 minutes. Are you mad? That is